Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining us here at our virtual broadcast at First Unitarian Church of Toledo. Just a couple announcements today. I want to make sure you have September 13th on your calendar for our church in-gathering picnic. Keep in mind we'll have a virtual service, and the picnic is bring your own picnic, so it will be observing social distance. And if you'd like to join us out on the lawn, we can wave and say hello to each other from a safe distance. Also, remember to join us for our virtual coffee hour after service. We welcome friends new and old. The password and meeting code are above, and we'll show that again at the end of service. We'd love to see you there.
Our opening words are by Kristen L. Harper, The Deep Well of Black Lives. On August 25th, 1619, the ship the White Lion arrived at Point Comfort, now known as Fort Monroe National Monument in Hampton, Virginia. The ship contained enslaved Africans. This is the first recorded arrival of Africans in America. This year, which was 2019, the anniversary was commemorated at Fort Monroe as a day of healing and reconciliation. The community was asked to ring bells at 3 o'clock for 4 minutes, signifying the 400 years that have passed since that historic moment. How do we mark that first day, that hour, that minute the White Lion docked at a point that would be of no comfort to the 20 enslaved Africans chained in her bowels, heralds of a coming storm of millions whose bodies would break through soil and rock to build an America that could never fully embrace its progenitors? How do we mark that day, that hour, that minute that foreshadowed the centuries of degradation, violence, of attempts to separate the soul and spirit from the deep well of Black lives? How do we mark that day, that hour, that minute, 400 years ago, when the first drop of African sweat commingled with the earth's warmth, planting the seeds of a new culture, a new way of life, a new heartbeat into the fabric of a new world? When the roots of freedom sparked deep underground and spread from generation to generation, blossoming into resistance and resilience. So today we will ring bells of sorrow, bells of grief, bells of atonement. We will ring out the ghosts of those lost in the Middle Passages, lost to the whips and deprivation, lost to the lynches and the bullets, lost to the prisons and the chains of racism. Today we will ring bells so that tomorrow we may ring in freedom, ring in liberation, ring in peace.
Today's chalice lighting includes words by Ellen Hamilton, Faith in Summer. In faith together, we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather Sun's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days with lighted hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and in faith.
And please join me in reciting our covenant. It's on the screen behind me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And let's have some congregational singing, with you singing along at home, I hope. This is number 10 from our hymnal, Immortal Love. Now it's story time with our religious educator, Kristen Olson.
So today's story is called Indra's Magnificent Jeweled Net. It's a traditional Buddhist and Hindu story. Far, far away in the abode of the great King Indra, King of Heaven, hangs a wondrous vast net, much like a spider's web in its intricacy and loveliness. It stretches out indefinitely in all directions. At each node or crossing point of the net hangs a single glittering jewel. Since the net itself is infinite in dimension, the jewels are infinite in number. The sparkling jewels hang there, suspended in and supported by the net, glittering like stars to behold. Close your eyes now and imagine what this magnificent jeweled net looks like, spread across the vast expanse of space. Now, keep your eyes closed and move in close to one jewel in the net. Look closely, and you see that the polished surface of the gem reflects all the other jewels in the net, infinite in number, just as two mirrors placed opposite each other reflect an image ad infinitum. Each jewel reflected in this gem you are gazing into also reflects all the other jewels, so that the process of reflection is in itself infinite. Now, open your eyes and know that you are a sparkling jewel in Indra's net, as is every person around you. Every jewel is connected with all the other jewels in the net. Every person is intimately connected with all the other persons in the universe. Each has an independent place within the net, and we all reflect and influence each other. A change in one jewel or person produces a change, however slight, in every other. Realize, too, that the infinite reflections speak to the illusory nature of appearances. Appearances are not, in fact, reality. but only a reflection. The true nature of a thing is not to be captured in its appearance, however powerful the appearance may be. It is yet only a reflection of what is real. In addition, whatever you do to one jewel affects the entire net, as well as yourself. You cannot damage one strand of a spider web without injuring the entire web. And you cannot damage one strand of the web that is the universe without injuring all others in it, whether the injury is known or unknown to them. This can work for good or ill because, of course, just as destructive acts affect the entire web, so do loving, constructive, compassionate acts affect the entire net. A simple, helpful act, even a simple act of kindness, will send positive ripples across the infinite net, touching every jewel and every person in existence.
Thank you, Kristen. Anthem time. We have the fire of commitment.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Thank you for that beautiful song. I'll share a little factoid about the co-lyricist, Mary Catherine Mourn. Her fire of commitment has led her to be the executive director of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So
Awesome.
we do have great commitment that way. Now, please join me for a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer. We all have joys and sorrows. We have fears and fire. We're still struggling these many months into the coronavirus pandemic, struggling with how to have our society take actions that will help us to tamp down the disease, and at the same time, try to continue with ways to which we've been accustomed. And it was posted as kind of a joke, but one thing on Facebook that shows our struggles said, Ohio, the only place where universities have classes but no sports, and high schools have sports but no classes. We hope that all of us can mask when it's needed so that we can deal with the disease until a vaccine is developed. And remember that vaccines are not quick. There is a lot of experimentation and trials that have to be done before they'll be available to the mass public. And then we'll, I'm sure, have politics of who can get the vaccines when. So those are all struggles. For our meditation, contemplation, and prayer, I'll read Helped by Alice Walker. Helped are those who are content to be themselves. They will never lack mystery in their lives, and the joys of self-discovery will be constant. Helped are those who love the entire cosmos rather than their own tiny country, city, or farm. For to them will be shown the unbroken web of life and the meaning of infinity. Helped are those who live in quietness, knowing neither brand name nor fad. They shall live every day as if in eternity, and each moment shall be as full as it is long. Helped are those who love others unsplit off from their faults. To them will be given clarity of vision. Helped are those who create anything at all, for they shall relive the thrill of their own conception and realize a partnership in the creation of the universe that keeps them responsible and cheerful. Helped are those who love the earth, their mother, and who willingly suffer that she may not die. In their grief over her pain, they will weep rivers of blood, and in their joy in her lively response to love, they will converse with the trees. Helped are those whose ever act is a prayer for harmony in the universe, for they are the restorers of balance to our planet. To them will be given the insight that every good act done anywhere in the cosmos welcomes the life of an animal or a child. Helped are those who risk themselves for others' sakes. To them will be given increasing opportunities for greater risks. Theirs will be a vision of the world in which no one's gift is despised or lost. Helped are those who strive to give up their anger. Their reward will be that in any confrontation, their first thoughts will never be of violence or of war. Helped are those whose every act is a prayer for peace. On them depends the future of the world. Helped are those who forgive. Their reward shall be forgiveness of every evil done to them. It will be in their power, therefore, to envision the new earth. Helped are those who are shown the existence of the Creator's magic in the universe. They shall experience delight and astonishment without ceasing. Helped are those who laugh with a pure heart. Theirs will be the company of the jolly righteous. Helped are those who love all the colors of all the human beings, as they love all the colors of the animals and plants. None of their children, nor any of their ancestors, nor any parts of themselves shall be hidden from them. Helped are those who love the lesbian, the gay, and the straight, as they love the sun, the moon, and the stars. None of their children, nor any of their ancestors, nor any parts of themselves shall be hidden from them. Helped are those who love the broken and the whole. None of their children, nor any of their ancestors, nor any parts of themselves shall be hidden from them. Helped are those who do not join mobs. Theirs shall be the understanding that to attack in anger is to murder in confusion. Helped are those who find the courage to do at least one small thing each day to help the existence of another, plant, animal, river, or human being. They shall be joined by a multitude of the timid. Helped are those who lose their fear of death. Theirs is the power to envision the future in a blade of grass. Helped are those who love and actively support the diversity of life. They shall be secure in their differences. Helped are those who know. Let's observe a minute of silence.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Our reading today is Blessings on Those Staying Home by Linda Barnes. We're staying home. Love has never asked this of us before. We're staying home. This is our gift to humanity. Let us wish each other well. For those staying home alone, I offer you this blessing. May you grow a deeper understanding of your own worth. Dear one, leaven the aloneness with gentle care, for this too shall pass. May you be blessed with a peace and serenity. May you find the courage to reach out to hear another's voice and to remember others need you too. May you be well. For those staying home together, I offer you this blessing. May you find moments of patience and grace in your relations. May you offer each other enough time apart, reassurance, and space enough to cry, to safely rage, for this too shall pass. Then let peace come again into your home. May you see one another's whole self as a gift. May you be well. For those working from home, I offer you this blessing. May you remember to take breaks. May you find the means to relish your imperfection and the imperfection of others as evidence of our shared humanity. You are enough, even when there isn't enough. Make order in your days, and then let it go. May you be well. For those staying home with children, I offer you this blessing. May you find humor and compassion in your days. There will be learning of a different kind, deeper no doubt, unexpected for sure. May there be patience and forgiveness again and again and again. For this too shall pass. May you all remember the deep love that brought your family into being. May there be peace and understanding in your home. May you be well. May we be well. May it be so.
I trusted God to help me pay back my student loans. Spoiler alert, he didn't. A personal essay by Kimberly Lawson in the Huffington Post, April 11th, 2019. For sale, the hair of the Virgin Mary. What does a supposedly secular world want with the creepy and probably fake remains of medieval saints by Mattia Ferrarisi, New York Times, June 15th, 2020. What Quakers can teach us about the politics of pronouns. In the 17th century, they also suspected that the rules of grammar stood between them and a society of equals. Opinion column by Teresa M. Bejan, New York Times, November 16th, 2019. How Elise Ambrose found her queerness through her faith. A former reverend and sex ethicist, Ambrose is teaching the LGBTQ folk how to reconcile their sexuality with their spirituality. By Mike Albo, Huffington Post, June 17th, 2019. That was published for Pride 2019. Toledo Pride 2020 has its events, COVID adjusted, happening this coming weekend. I've already given 3 sermons in this 5-part series on catching up, and I haven't followed the original premise yet, that I go through some of the articles and other readings that I've saved and haven't used on a Sunday, which is a concept I got from reading about a minister who would do that type of roundup about once a year and preach on it. And I would catch up by reading and telling you a little about the articles, kind of a collection of sermon snippets rather than full exploration and analysis. I'll try to follow the premise this week with the topic religion and humanism. I pulled about 50 articles, primarily from the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Huffington Post. I didn't add all the saves I got from articles from friends' Facebook posts. You have to set limits on how much to handle. You know from those opening headlines I recited that there's variety in the religion stories, though most of the articles fell into only a few categories. World religions, like a report on this year's Hajj for Muslims that was limited to only 1,000 people because of the pandemic, when last year it drew 2.5 million. Race, which I'll hold until next week's topic of anti-racism and pro-social justice. My list showed a lot of articles on religion and abuse, including a Harlem charter school run by a Christian church that imposed cult-like requirements on students and their families, an investigative report showing abuse and cover-up in independent Baptist churches with cases in the hundreds, that a spiritualist leader was a sexual predator, on women who were sexually abused by Catholic nuns, on abuse in megachurches, on the NXIVM cult, and on Catholic priests. You might know that the bishop of the Toledo Catholic Diocese is in Findlay today at the diocese's church with the largest membership, addressing the congregation after that church's pastor was arrested for long-time sexual abuse. We hope that you feel that our church is a safe space, free of abuse. Almost all of the religion stories I saved that had to do with politics had ties to Donald Trump, and he wasn't in a good light. Among them, Trump's spiritual advisor prays to stop demonic networks aligned against him. Paula White suggested the president was anointed by God as America's defender when she delivered an opening prayer at Trump's re-election rally. By Carol Kuruvia, Huffington Post, June 19th, 2019. Trump touts his so good and so righteous achievements at Evangelical Conference by Darlene Superville, Huffington Post, June 26, 2019. McEnany, who is the White House press secretary, scorched after demeaning journalists for desperately opposing church openings. I go to church. I'm dying to get back to church, snapped a Reuters reporter. But the press wants to know, is it safe? By Mary Poppenfuss, Huffington Post, May 22nd, 2020. And yes, I saved a couple from that Bible incident at St. John's Episcopal Church during Black Lives Matter protests, including Trump's use of the Bible was obscene. He should try reading the words inside it. Opinion by William J. Barber II and Jonathan Wilson Hartgrove, Washington Post, June 2nd, 2020. You might know that Bishop Barber is co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign. They wrote, as preachers in the South, one black and one white, we are painfully aware of the ways Christian faith has been used to justify slavery, white supremacy, legal segregation, corporate exploitation, the dominance of women, and the dehumanization of LGBTQ people. As Frederick Douglass put it, between the Christianity of this land and the Christianity of Christ, I recognize the widest possible difference. The Bible as a talisman has real political power, but we believe the words inside the book are more powerful. If we unite across lines of race, creed, and culture to stand together on the moral vision of love, justice, and truth that was proclaimed by Jesus and the prophets, we have the capacity to reclaim the heart of this democracy and work together for a more perfect union. To do that, we need to read the Bible and live it, not wave it for the cameras. I saved stories on coronavirus and church, of course, to help me figure out our way through the pandemic. How a silent meditation retreat helped prepare me for this, by Stephen Paltrow, Washington Post, April 6th, 2020. Kind of moving from voluntary isolation to real-world separation while connecting inward, he says. Coronavirus ravaged a choir, but isolation helped contain it. One singer attended choir practice, infecting 52 others, 2 of whom died. A study released by the CDC shows that self-isolation and tracing efforts helped contain the outbreak. By David Waldstein, New York Times, May 12th, 2020. Churches were eager to reopen. Now they are confronting coronavirus cases. The virus has infiltrated Sunday services, church meetings, and youth camps. More than 650 cases have been linked to religious facilities during the pandemic. By Kate Conger, Jack Healy, and Larry Tompkins, New York Times, July 8th, 2020. I emphasize that we're liberal in our religion, but conservative in caring for our congregation's health. So we're not yet advancing to in-person Sunday services. As you heard from Mickey earlier, our own Bring Your Own Food picnic at 1 p.m. on September 13th, our in-gathering day, will be our first attempt at reuniting with social distance. Why Americans are praying during the coronavirus pandemic, whether it's asking for strength to face a tough day or courage to demand justice, a study shows many Americans are leaning on this ancient practice. By Carol Kuruvia and Isaac Himmelman, Huffington Post, May 18th, 2020. I am drawn to stories about how religion interacts with popular culture. Here's one. The shaman of Instagram, Jurek Verrett, friend of Gwyneth Paltrow and consort of the Princess of Norway, wants to bring spiritual healing to the masses. By Jessica Bennett, New York Times, July 3rd, 2020. This profile of Jurek Verrett and his work shows kind of a next wave to me. I'm familiar with what I might call the Oprah crew of popular spiritual companions, such as Deepak Chopra and Iyanla Vanzant. I covered one of those Oprah sessions in Detroit when I was at the Blade. The article says, after dropping some names of celebrities who have been Verrett's clients, but the shaman also treats all sorts of non-famous people too, many of them women, who find him through some combination of his Instagram account, his podcast, his online shaman school, where one can learn to optimize their spiritual powers, and his book, Spirit Hacking, which came out late last year. People's seeking continues. And I remember that Unitarian Universalism is one of the more stable locations for seeking, with our being grounded in religious history and having organizational support behind us. Though I put humanism in this week's title, when I looked at my saved stories, I found I pretty much kept up with humanism, so there wasn't a backlog of articles. But one piece not directly tied to humanism, but something a humanist would endorse, is my dad created an ethical will. Here's what that means and why you may want one too. by guest writer Carrie Friedman, Huffington Post, June 20th, 2020. In addition to their standard will, Dad, an estate planning attorney, encouraged his clients to write what some call an ethical will, but what he called a legacy letter, as sort of a roadmap of wishes to share beliefs, experiences, life lessons, even regrets with the family members who would outlive them. My father would prompt his clients to write their legacy letters by asking them a few questions. What do you want people to remember about you and integrate into their own lives? What do you want your legacy to your community and your children to be after you've gone? Finally, for today's talk, there are some religion-oriented books I want to look for based on reviews and stories I saved. Here are a couple. A July 5th, 2019 Washington Post article by Sam Kestenbaum, written in the early stages of the Democratic presidential campaign, was titled "The Curious Mystical Text Behind Marianne Williamson's Presidential Bid," with the subhead, "The New Age author was drawn to an esoteric Bible in the 1970s. It made her a self-help megastar, and now it has gone mainstream." The article draws attention to A Course in Miracles, which some in our congregation might have studied. Meet the Man Who Spun the Media, Scammed Followers, and Named Himself King by Chris Jennings, New York Times, July 14th, 2020. That's a review of The King of Confidence, a tale of utopian dreamers, frontier schemes, true believers, false prophets, and the murder of an American monarch by Miles Harvey. That self-proclaimed king in the title is 19th century con man and prophet James Jesse Strang. One part of my journalism career that I miss is writing book reviews and interviewing authors. Though the book report sermon has been demeaned when it just recaps the contents, I might bring one or two titles to your attention on a Sunday morning. I have two thick books from a few years ago in mind already. Remember, this isn't a comprehensive review of the past year of religion and humanism in the news. No, it's a collection of the articles I didn't read when they were published, and I read plenty at the time and didn't save them. So this doesn't really tell you much about the news or about what's in my head when I choose to save a story. I guess this exercise hasn't really caught us up, but I have fewer saved for later articles in my queues. Now that I've read these and shared something about them, I can unsave. News clippings aren't for a permanent record, and I don't think we're ever completely caught up. So be it.
We've come to today's offering. If you are someone who would like to support our continued mission here at First Unitarian of Toledo, maybe you just got some new stamps and you'd like to send something in, we do have donations by mail at our First Unitarian Glendale address. And if you didn't get a new stamp, maybe you want to drop by, that's fine. Or you can give online at our new website, at uutoledo.org, and then click on Give, and then click on Online Giving. We really appreciate your support.
Coming soon, next week, our 10 a.m. Spiritual Adventures Forum is a fifth Sunday in which they do things differently, and they're trying to do things differently by Zoom as well. So they're having a poetry open mic. And then the 11 a.m. service next week concludes this month of catching up with part 5, anti-racism and pro-social justice.
We invite you this week again to join us for our virtual coffee hour immediately after our service on Zoom. That meeting code and password ID will be on the screen now and after service. We warmly invite returning guests and visitors.
Our closing words, All This Talk of Saving Souls by Linda M. Underwood. All this talk of saving souls. Souls weren't made to save like Sunday clothes that give out at the seams. They're made for wear. They come with lifetime guarantees. Don't save your soul. Pour it out like rain on cracked, parched earth. Give your soul away or pass it like a candle flame. Sing it out or laugh it up the wind. Souls were made for hearing breaking hearts, for puzzling dreams, remembering August flowers, forgetting hurts. These men who talk of saving souls, they have the look of bullies who blow out candles before you sing happy birthday and want the world to be in alphabetical order. I will spend my soul playing it out like sticky string into the world so I can catch every last thing I touch.
And as we send the flame, we hear "The Church Has Left the Building" by Margaret Weiss. The church is not a place, it is a people. The church is not only a steeple above the tree line, streets, and cars. Rather, it is a people proclaiming to the world that we are here for the work of healing and of justice. The church is not walls built stone upon stone, held together by mortar, but rather person, linked with person, all ages and genders and abilities, a community built on the foundation of reason, faith, and love. The church is not just a set of doors open on Sunday morning, but the commitment day after day and moment after moment of our hearts creaking open the doors of welcome to the possibility of new experience and radical welcome. The church is not simply a building, a steeple, a pew. The church is the gathering together of all the people and experiences and fear and love and hope in our resilient hearts, gathering however we can to say to the world, welcome, come in, lay down your heartache and pick up hope and love. For the church is us, each and every one of us together, a beacon of hope to this world that so sorely needs it.